Later, a memorial service was held in Johannesburg. Afterwards, some black youths spilled out onto the city centre streets. The police, who were out in force, ordered them to disperse, but the youths went on the rampage, throwing petrol bombs and looting shops. The youths then turned on whites, attacking at least one passerby, as well as a plainclothes policeman who was trapped by the crowd and rescued by an armed colleague.
He's got a gun on him.
One looter was shot by the police, who then moved in to arrest him. For many, Molosie was another martyr to the black cause, but the government here saw him differently. For them, he was the cold-blooded murderer of an innocent black policeman, and that's why President Botha refused to respond to the pleas for clemency from world leaders and a last-minute appeal from Bishop Desmond Tutu last night. He said a reprieve would have lowered the temperature in the country. Throughout the day, the streets of the coloured townships have been the scene of rioting. This lorry was hijacked and set on fire across one of the main access roads into Athlone Township. Similar attacks occurred elsewhere, while the police and army have again been in action, opening fire on demonstrators, not only with shotguns but rifles too. Some Athlone residents have now started using guns themselves, a worrying development for the security forces. This evening, a substantial force of police and troops poured into the coloured townships around Cape Town. Operation Clean-up, it is called, aimed at restoring law and order. This is Graham Leach for the 6 o'clock news in South Africa.
Molosie's execution has been condemned by politicians in Europe and America. One of the Labour Party's Foreign Affairs spokesman, Donald Anderson, said Pretoria was spitting in the face of world opinion. For the Liberals, Alan Beath said it was essential now that Britain showed she was no friend of South Africa. A Conservative backbencher, Hugh Dykes, called the hanging another major blunder in a series of monumental mistakes. In Washington, the White House spokesman, Larry Speakes, said the execution could only exacerbate the situation in South Africa. And in France, the Prime Minister, Laurent Fabius, said the hanging was a scandal. He observed 1 minute silence outside the South African embassy as a protest.
In the Bahamas, where the leaders of the Commonwealth are gathered for their conference, the news of Molosie's execution was greeted with dismay and anger. They'd appealed to President Botha to show mercy. Yesterday and again today, the conference has been dominated by the whole question of South Africa. Britain has been under pressure to agree to economic sanctions. That's something Mrs. Thatcher is firmly against. But the execution of Molosie has made her position more difficult.